Hello, Algebra 1 students, and welcome to Lesson 1-3 on solving equations with variables on both sides, right? So we, in the last lesson, solved some basic equations, again, distribution, combined like terms, and then getting the variable by itself. Well, here, we're going to see variables on both sides, variable on both sides. So my note to you, and just kind of fit this somewhere on your slide, get one variable term, ASAP, as soon as possible. So what this is going to require is you're going to have to move a variable term, and usually we're going to move the smaller number of x's. So I'm going to put in parentheses the smaller number of x's. And again, we'll talk about that as we go through. So many times in the past, I've had students focus on numbers, right? They're focused on the numbers because I think variables kind of unnerve you. But again, focus on the variables first. Okay, all right, let's take a look at a couple examples here. Example 1. So solve the equation and check our answer. So notice here we have 7x equals 8x plus 12. So we have an x on the left and we have an x on the right. So let me draw my line. Okay, so again, if you go back to last lesson, right? So are there parentheses? No, so no distribution. Are there like terms on the left or the right side? No, left side only has one term, right side only has one term. So now we need to get our variable on one side, okay? So we're either going to move the 7x or we're going to move the 8x. Now, in this case, as I said, typically we move the smaller number of x's, so 7 is the smaller number. However, on this left-hand side, there's only one term. So because there's only one term here with the x, this must be the x side. So we need to move the 8x over there. And in order to move the 8x over there, we're going to subtract 8x. It's positive, so we subtract it. Notice that the x comes with it. I'm going to put a little note there, right? Include the x. And again, it's because we're combining like terms across the equal sign, and unless that 8 has an x with it, it cannot combine with the 7. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to make x on our left-hand side, and we're going to solve or simplify the right-hand side. So when you do 7 minus 8, that's -1, and the x comes down. On the right-hand side, the 8x's cancel, and your 12 comes down. Okay? So again, you can see your variables on the left, and now it boils down to what we talked about last lesson. Next, we're going to either add or subtract something first, and then multiply or divide by something second. Well, notice that this -1x has nothing added or subtracted to it, so we're not going to add or subtract first. We're actually going to go straight to division, right? This is a -1. It's multiplying with the x, so divide both sides by -1. They cancel on the left, x comes down, 12 divided by -1 is -12. Okay, so I think that's my answer. Let me go ahead and check it real fast. Now notice here, when we check it, we have variables on both sides. So ours is going to say 7 times -12 equals 8 times -12 plus 12. So I'm going to simplify the 7 times -12, that's -84. I'm going to simplify the 8 times -12, that's -96, and then just bring down the plus 12. And then I'll combine the -96 and the positive 12, and that's -84. And that does, in fact, equal -84, and we have checked our answer, and we should feel good about x being -12. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, solve the equation, check the answer. So 5r minus 7 equals 2r plus 14. So I'm going to draw this line. So again, I see no parentheses, so no distribution. The left-hand side, we cannot combine the 5 and the 7. They're not like terms. We cannot combine the 2 and the 14 on the right-hand side. They're not like terms. So we are going to start moving things around. Now I want to get one variable, right, r, and I want to move the smaller one. So this time, 2 is the smaller number of r's. So I'm going to move that. The reason I do this is because I want to keep the r coefficient positive. And by moving the smaller one, it stays positive. So I'm going to subtract 2r. This is a positive 2r, so I'm going to subtract 2r. Again, remember I included the r, right? So again, make a note. You include the r. And again, it's so that you can combine your like terms. You cannot combine 5 and negative 2 unless they both have r's. So on the left-hand side, 5 minus 2 is 3r. Bring down the minus 7. On the right-hand side, the 2 r's cancel. Bring down your 14. So what we've done is by combining the variables as soon as possible, we've determined what side is our variable side. We are going to solve for r on the left and simplify on the right to get our number. So it requires 2 steps. Add or subtract, and then multiply or divide. So I see this minus 7 here without the r. It is minus, so we're going to add it to both sides. The 3r comes down, the 7's cancel. 14 plus 7 is 21. And now we're going to get rid of this 3 in front of the r. It's multiplying, so we're going to divide by 3. The 3's cancel, r is all by itself, and on the right-hand side, 21 divided by 3 is 7. So I think that my answer is 7. Let's check real fast. Again, this will be the last time we check. Plug it on both sides. So 5 times 7 minus 7 equals 2 times 7 plus 14. 5 times 7 is 35. Bring down the minus 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Bring down the plus 14. 35 minus 7 is 28. 14 plus 14 is 28. Boom. You know we're right. Okay, last but not least, one of these. Here we go. Okay, so 27 minus 3x equals 3x plus 27. Wow, so the left and right side look pretty darn similar, right? So let's draw my line. No parentheses, so no like terms to combine, or I'm sorry, no distribution. No like terms on the left or right side to combine. So now we're going to move across the equal sign. If you notice here, the negative 3x is the smaller x. So we are going to move the negative 3x. It is a negative 3, so we're going to add it to both sides. Had we chosen to move this 3x to the left, we would have had to subtract it, which would have given us negative x's. Let's try to keep things positive. So 27 comes down, the 3x's cancel on the left. On the right-hand side, 3 plus 3 is 6, and then we bring down the plus 27. So what we've determined is that the right-hand side is our x side, so now our goal is to get some number on the left side equals x. So again, it requires an addition or a subtraction, and then a multiplication or a division. All right, so I see this plus 27 next to the 6x. Let's subtract it on both sides. 27 minus 20 cancels. It's 0. Well, that's the only thing that was on the left-hand side, so we need to put something there, so go ahead and put the 0. If there were more terms there, I would not put anything, but because there's nothing there, I need a 0. And on the right-hand side, bring down your 6x, and the 27's cancel. And man, what do I do now? Well, you just keep solving. It is not a big deal that you get 0 on one of the sides. Now, had the x's canceled and have like 0x, that's a different story, and we'll talk about that in the next day's lesson. But today, continue on by dividing by 6 on both sides. 0 divided by 6 is 0. The 6's cancel, and that's your value of x. And there you go. No big deal. So when you get 0 in the problem, do not worry. It's a-okay. Okay, so that is the first video of today's lesson. The second video is coming up right away.